Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about social freedom black belts, and if you stick around to the end, you get a little gift from Papa Sasha. Boom! What's going on, beautiful people? It's Sasha, and I'm here right after the Infinite Man Summit in Acapulco. It was a great time. I was hugging so many people. There was so much love in the room. The only bad part is when you got to leave and say goodbye to everybody, but we'll see them again. So one of the things we're talking about was social freedom, the ability to do and say whatever you want, following your heart's desire, regardless of what other people or society think. And this has been a crucial part of my teaching for many, many, many years, if not the most important part. And one of the things I noticed that happens with guys, they'll get to a certain level of social freedom where they're able to, like, approach people, or they'll get the job they want, or they'll start the business they want, or whatever it is, and they'll think, oh yeah, I've done it now. I've gotten that one thing that I want. And then they just fall into a pattern of not taking any chances and being totally normal and not pushing their social freedom boundaries at all. And then what happens is life kind of gets stale and boring, and then they just go back to being like everybody else. I recently had a really profound spiritual experience. Really deep learning came in. I got to a certain level of realization, and I was just like, And my teacher, one of my teachers said, Sasha, you've got your spiritual black belt, but that's just the beginning. Now it gets interesting, right? Now there's so much more learning for you. Here's a fun person to talk to about this. It's my instructor, Mike Doretto. He's been working with me for like 8 years, and he just so happens he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. Mike, come on over. So what do you think of this whole concept of, like, don't get cocky, because wherever you're at, there's always somebody that can kick your ass, right? And there's always so much to learn, and that's the thing that would keep us from learning, is getting cocky where we're at. How does this kind of apply to jiu-jitsu? Would you say it's the same?
Absolutely the same. I always like to say that once you get your black belt in jiu-jitsu, it's kind of like beating Super Mario. Sorry, our princess is in another castle. You got to start all over again. And it's the same thing with social freedom. People get to a level where they say, oh, I don't need your course because I can already approach women. Or I don't need your course because I can already, get business opportunities. But then we ask, well, can you do both of those things at the same time? Can you be completely honest with your partners and lovers? Have you handled any sore spots with friends and family? Have you really gone after every single thing? Are you really telling me that you are completely devoid of fear? You've got no fear left? I don't believe you.
And I've seen it happen so many times to so many guys. They push themselves to a certain level. They go on a few dates, they get a girlfriend, and they go, that's it. I got a girlfriend now. I'm done. And I speak to them 6 months later. I'm like, hey, how's life? And they're like, well, I got a little needy with that girl. She broke up with me, and then I just been in the house the whole time. I'm like, well, you were just a few months ago. You were saying you're doing great. Yeah, that was a few months ago, because they got lazy and they stopped growing. They got their orange belt, and they were like, okay, cool. I'm good. But no, go for the black, and when you hit the black, keep going.
One of the things people do is they say, okay, I don't need your program because I've already got, I'm comfortable, basically. I can do the things that I want, but I'm comfortable. But that's that normal life that you're talking about. And normal is miserable these days. Look around you, people. Everybody that says that they're normal is really just leading an unsatisfying life. There's frustration. There's discontent. You want to be extraordinary. And fortunately, everybody around you has set the bar so low, it doesn't require that much effort. It just requires consistency. It requires dedication. It requires doing something like taking our social freedom camp, which is intense. It's intense, it's life-changing, and then sticking with our follow-up program, which is lifelong.
We've been teaching this stuff for over 10 years now, and the transformation we've seen, unbelievable. I have stories I tell about our students, and people go, oh, you're just making that up, and then they'll see the testimonial and go, oh yeah, you're not making that up.
Life gets so much fucking better, and I don't mean just in dating and girls, just in everyday life.
I would definitely recommend to anyone out there who's ever thought about doing a boot camp. I mean, it'll change your trajectory in life, so just go and do it, and it'll just...
I would have paid way more for this shit. I feel like I robbed these motherfuckers.
Just take the course, as simple as that.
Social freedom is like money. You could always use a little bit more. Right? And you always want to stay on the path of that as well. I remember when I wasn't full-time and I was working in the corporate world, and most of my career focus was on, regular corporate IT-based jobs. During that time, my social freedom started to wane a little bit. It started to go down. I remember I was at a beer festival, and I'm waiting in line for a sample of beer, and then they open up another line next to the line I'm in. Everybody in the first line didn't move. They all just stood there. And Socially Free Me would have seen that and walked right up to the front of the line from the back of it and been like, great, I'm the first one in this new line. Now, of course, when you do that, sometimes people go, hey, wait a minute, you're blah, 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 blah. But really, they didn't take the action. So who deserves to be in the front of the line? The person that takes the action. And as I'm standing there realizing that I'm not moving, I realized I had once again become less socially free, become one of the sheeple. And that was a wake-up call for me. I was like, wait a minute. I'm Sasha Daygame's #1 North American coach here. There's no excuse for this. So what did? I went back out and I did more social freedom exercises. And I warmed myself back up. And now, yeah, I'm going to cut that line. If you're too slow, sorry, buddy, you miss out.
What's the point of this fantastic conversation? Well, our social freedom programs that we do live are absolutely one of the most transformational programs you could ever partake on. And we've got hundreds, maybe thousands of people you could ask about this, and they'll tell you the same. But we can't be everywhere in the world at once. Obviously, there's only a few of us. We're a small business, and we don't have teleportation technology yet. But when they get it, though, that's going to be awesome. So Mike here, he had the crazy idea, and he had some very specific things going through his head about how he could make a program that's online that anyone can do that could get similar level results as our live programs. Mike, sounds crazy to me, but I'd like to hear it.
So I think people are tired of canned programs. Those programs where you're paying thousands of dollars, the guy recorded it 5 years ago. Sure, you've got some email support, maybe there's a forum attached, but you're not feeling a connection with the instructor. He's not making you feel accountable. You realize that you can go at your own pace, and most people end up going 2-3 weeks into a self-paced program, and then they stop. And then they don't pick it up again. Even our program, we have a program from a few years ago that's that very same thing. And the most common report that we get is, I went halfway through the program, I lost accountability, it was too much effort, and I left the program for 6 months, and then I came back and finished it when I hit bottom again. You shouldn't have to hit bottom twice to finish the program that you're already paying $3,000 for. What we're going to do is this is going to be a live program. I'm going to teach it like a college course. You're going to sign in. I'll be there live to answer your questions, talk back and forth, and you got to be in the class. You can't skip. Of course, it's going to be recorded, so if we're not all in the same time zone, you've got a couple days to watch the video and keep up with the class. But if you don't, you fall behind. How's that for accountability? On top of that, homework assignments. The same social freedom homework assignments that we would have you do live. We'll ramp it up a little bit slower so you don't have to feel like we're dropping you into the deep end. During our live program, it's basically 3 warm-up exercises and then boom, intensity. This will go a little bit slower, but you will have to prove to me that you're doing the homework. You're going to record yourself doing the homework, and you're going to send me the evidence. Also, I'm going to pair you up with another person in the group so you have an accountability buddy. So when you're having those days where you're not feeling like doing the exercises, when you're feeling a little depressed, when you're feeling a little low on motivation, you have your sponsor, your accountability buddy, the guy that's going to help push you out there, because you know if you don't do it, not only are you going to disappoint me, you're going to disappoint him and the whole rest of the class. On top of that, of course, you get access to our Infinite Man Academy, our full content library, and lifetime access to the online coaching forum. And it's half the price of our normal boot camp. But it's not always going to be half the price. This course is going to be powerful. This course is going to change lives. This course is going to deliver the social freedom promise that we make in person, but we're going to do it remotely. And once that happens, price is going up, motherfuckers. So now's the time. If you're interested, you're going to look in the link below. You're going to register for the webinar where I'm going to explain all the details. I'm going to answer all your questions. And if you purchase at that webinar, you will get an additional discount off the top of the price. So that makes it even less than half the price of our live training program.
That's right. And I'll be teaching at least one of the modules, and then there'll probably be a Q&A with both of us at the end. So you get a little Sasha love in there too, which is pretty sweet. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see the transformations for people. It's going to be sick.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm an educator, I'm a teacher, I'm a coach. I like having that one-on-one personal experience with my students. And this is the way that I feel we can establish that relationship. So not only are you getting a coach and getting that social freedom, but if you're not a bastard, we're going to become friends. We're going to become friends. So after the course, say you're one of those people that does get a girlfriend immediately after the course. And then, like most people, you break up a little bit later. You can call me. We can get you back up to speed. I'm there for you. We're there for you. If you make a relationship with Team Infinite Man will be there to support you.
I think that pretty much says it all. I think it does. So click the link, and we'll see you on the training.